So tonight we're going to talk about the heart and soul flow, and with the rising of the divine feminine in all of us, it means going back to the wisdom of the heart and the soul, which has been largely buried and forgotten when we were indoctrinated to believe somebody else's interpretation of reality, and that we need somebody else to mediate God to us. And when spiritual teachings were converted into religions with rules. So we're remembering all of that and realizing that we have always had direct connection to source, that we can tap into it. And the Eastern traditions have at least like preserved that maybe the most. Um, but when we remember, and it starts with opening our hearts and feeling all the feelings and doing the ancestral forgiveness, healing work, and coming back to wholeness. And when we open the heart is the gateway um, to the present moment, which contains the past and the future, right? Because everything is now. And when the crown chakra is open and we remember the connection with source and we reconnect with our soul, then we also have the vision for future timelines because, again, past, present, future, everything is now. But if our heart is closed off because of pain and childhood wounding and attachment issues and pain that we have endured during this lifetime that we have not forgiven and processed, then we can't really tap into that innate and intuitive wisdom because we are disconnected from others and ourselves. But when we open that heart through processing pain, grief, anger, all the emotions that we consider difficult and we don't want to deal with because the intensity of them is very painful in a sense, when we have enough of an emotional intelligence to process those emotions, then we really tap into that coherence and interconnectedness, and reality completely shifts and transforms because we realize that we have always been connected. And actually, those difficult people that come into our lives come to help us heal parts of ourselves. And when we're able to view things from a little higher perspective, we can start to see those patterns that we've been repeating. Maybe if one of your parents was emotionally unavailable, you keep attracting emotionally unavailable people. And instead of every time blaming them, you realize, wait a minute, why does this keep happening to me? And you focus on your own experience and how does it feel, and the loneliness of not being emotionally met, and the sadness, and the inability for the other person to actually create a deep connection and intimacy with you because they're very disconnected from their emotions. And that can help you really get in touch with these difficult emotions that you have been avoiding. So, in a sense, you are emotionally unavailable to yourself if you're avoiding your difficult emotions and things like anger and jealousy and envy. So, that person is only serving as a reflection of what you still need to deal with that you don't want to deal with, right? And when you become emotionally available to yourself, like fully, which means like welcoming all of the emotions and getting the benefit from them and learning from them, then we can access higher knowledge because our energy is not going into constantly suppressing difficult emotions and avoiding difficult people and not knowing how to deal with them and being emotionally reactive all the time, and not admitting to yourself that you feel these feelings, and when they show up and when you have an outburst you have to defend yourself about it and pretend like nothing happened and all this kind of emotionally immature stuff. So where we're moving is people are realizing the importance of opening the heart, emotional intelligence, connecting with your source and soul. And when you do that, you're no longer relying on any teachers and gurus and people from the outside to interpret reality for you and to tell you what's right and what's wrong, because you're actually connected to your emotional guidance system, and your emotional guidance system is there for precisely that: what feels good, what doesn't, what person, although they're saying all the right things, gives you bad vibes because they're inauthentic and manipulative, and what person, even though they may not look like um, much, actually has an open heart and feels good and is deeply wise and authentic. And when we have that connection with our emotional guidance system and really trust it and tap into that intuitive wisdom, and open the crown and connect with our soul and higher self, the soul starts to bring us knowledge of future timelines, and you have a flash of something that could be like impossible and too grand, but you feel it deep down inside of you, and it sends this like jolt throughout your body, and that energy of intense passion and burning desire, and you feel like, this is for me. And then, of course, the mind goes in and goes like, oh, this is not available for you, you don't have the title, you don't have the credentials, you don't have the, but all of that stuff is from the past, because now what we need is authenticity, natural wisdom. And when you tap into your soul has wisdoms from lifetimes past. It's also connected to everything and everyone through the heart, living, long dead, unborn. And when you realize that, you can actually tap into everything that you need and download it for yourself and others. And you don't need a title, you don't need to go to Oracle school, you don't need any of that. You don't need to go to fancy spiritual retreats or do a bunch of rituals. All you need is to keep your heart open and to set the right intention. And then rest, relax, receive. And we learn how to work with our energies, which are seeming opposites, but they're one, with the masculine and the feminine, with the conscious and the subconscious, with the human and the divine self. When do we need to give a human response to somebody? When do we need to give a divine response? With the earthly and the cosmic energies, and how we can receive cosmic energies and ground them into the earth and our life, and life becomes so much fuller, and more interesting and fascinating. And you can go for a simple walk on a trail that you walk in every day, and the average person who's running because they think they need to be running to stay in good shape can miss the whole experience altogether, because they're in their head and they think they're not enough and they need to prove something and they need to get something, and they're searching on the outside for their answers. But when you're connected to your heart and your soul, you have all of the answers springing from inside of yourself. So not only you're not looking for anything, but you have abundance to give, and you can give gratitude to the trees on your walk, and you can notice two groundhogs in love and celebrate them and thank them for being able to witness their little intimacy dance going on. And you can pick mulberries and enjoy them and tell a bunch of other people what you're doing and give them mulberries to try and have a conversation with a really cool 70-year-old guy who's had a bunch of surgeries but is committed to walking and exercises and loves mulberries too. And you can pick and eat mulberries together, and exchange secret knowledge about the best mulberry trees in the area, and your life becomes this constant celebration, because when you're not looking for anything, you're free and you're available, and you can pay attention to the life around you and be actively engaged and participating in it and have this deep intimacy with it. And from that deep intimacy and connection, more art is born, more wisdom is born, more connection is born, more love is born, more joy is born, more aliveness is born, more fullness is born. And this is how the universe truly operates. And when you remember that and tap into your inner knowing and the flow, you just flow along and follow your joy and follow your bliss and rest when you need to and create when you need to and pay attention and delight and enjoy the blessing of this life and the gift of the senses and the ability to touch, to see, to hear, to smell, to kiss, to love, uh, to interpret, to speak, to sense, to download wisdom, to integrate it, to apply it, to anchor it into the earth, to bring change, to bring this new earth into being, to connect with fellow human beings, to see the oneness in everything and appreciate the diversity of all of the forms and the uniqueness and the authentic expression and the ability to be part of it while at the same time you're all of it. Matt.